Hello, welcome to a YouTube Live with me, Caroline, at Movement Style. Thank you for joining me for this yoga class in which we're going to look at close twists especially. Twists are calming to the nervous system. They bring the mind inwards and allow us to feel at ease with our own reflections, just simply being with our own thoughts. Of course, with yoga asana, always a more meditative state than our everyday going hither into the sort of work state. And so, yeah, I'm very drawn to twists, I must say. They do help me to relax, to calm down, and to know how I think, how I feel within myself. So we're going to begin in seated, and useful for this yoga session could very well be some bricks, so these thicker ones, possibly as well a yoga block as we start in seated, and maybe a yoga strap at a certain point as well. So finding a comfortable position in seated, so that might be with your legs extended. If you're comfortable with your knees bent and being in cross-legged, good. Or if you find it's easier to have the soles of the feet come together and the knees going wide, then that's another way to work. If you find that your knees are really high and your lower back is sinking down behind you, then why not just hop up onto a block like this in order for your thighs to drop down, and then your pelvis will be able to lift up and the base of your spine lift up, and that will enable you to open more effectively than otherwise. And then here we're going to think about mobilizing through the spine. So trying to get a nice lift right from the base of the spine, coming over, up, forwards, over to the other side, and then back. Now the idea here is to really actively work with the spine. And as we're moving back, letting the tailbone actively move forward and really deliberately arching and rounding in the small of the back. And again, if as you start moving in the hips, the knees don't feel comfortable in the position that you've selected, find another one with more openness in the knee joint that feels easier until your body gets more used to this kind of action. And then at a certain point, we can think about reversing this action, just flowing through our spine, lifting up and down each time, really releasing. Nice, fluid, even breath as we're going here. And then we're going to just draw through to the center and thinking about a side bend. So again, a side bend, very much movement through the spine. So we can side bend without the arm. And when we add the arm in, it's really to help us get more freedom through the rib cage, through the sides of the ribs and the muscles on the sides of the ribs. And that in turn will help us to lengthen and free the spine. But how about here, we really breathing in, lifting up and opening, breathing out to come over. Breathing in, we return, and we're still breathing in, we lift up. Breathing out to come over. Let's just give that another couple of goes on this side. And the last time here, really releasing the spine, lots of space in that upper side of the body. And off we go to the other side, breathing in, coming up to come over, breathing out and breathing in to release. And then again, breathing in, coming up to come over, breathing out to release. So as we breathe in, and you can probably feel, we can create more space within the chest, opening the muscles between the ribs from the inside of the body there. And up to come over. That's it. So last couple of breaths here. And then again, come all the way. Good. And then come back to rolling through the spine, just allowing the arms to come into a bit more of the movement, or including the arms in the movement a bit more. So as we roll through the spine, we let the spine roll and then the arms follow. And then again, essentially, we're lifting up through the spine and then the arms follow. Rolling through the spine And then the arms follow, like that. So good exhalation, good inhalation, lots of freedom, lots of openness. And then flowing all the way through and flowing. Good. And then just this time, we're going to release, coming back to the center, just spending a moment to allow the body to relax again, to experience the energy that lingers behind the movements through the spine that we've just been practicing, and the breathing work that we've just been engaging with. Feeling that spine might be nice and long. Just checking in with the energy levels, the quality of the energy levels within the body and within the mind. And then gradually, gently, as you're ready, we're going to bring ourselves down and onto the mat, lying on the back. And being on the back, let's just a little bit work with some spinal twists. So I'm going to flow the spine really from the tailbone upwards, just gently coming over, exhalation. And then we can breathe in to flow the spine back to the center. And then again, from the tailbone, essentially segment by segment, just allowing the movement to be slow enough that you really feel the spine moving and mobilizing. Breathing in to come center again. So breathing out, releasing into the twist, breathing in to return, and breathing out to flow in, and breathing in to return. Let's work 2 more twists here, and also just aiming to get a bit of a diagonal reach up and back. So as you're twisting to the right, reaching up and back diagonally into the left arm, and usually there's a really good stretch there, right through the flank of the body, the side of the body, and then flying through other side, twisting through the lower back towards the left, but reaching up and away into the right arm, head and neck can turn towards the right as well. So we're just going to let that work through once more in both directions here. Breathing in to come center. And then again, breathing out that long reach away. Good. And then just coming back through to the center. Now let the arms stay nice and wide and open. And let's cross the right leg over the left leg. And putting a little bit of pressure into the left arm to keep the right shoulder down. We're going to twist coming over towards the left side. And this is where it may be useful, possibly, to already pop in a brick or a block, just to support the leg. So sometimes this opening through the outside of the thigh can be quite intense. It's quite a close twist, actually, which will tend often to really open up through the outside of the thigh and the outside of the hip. And we can keep our ribs, right ribs, really dropping back, and the head and neck dropping back opposite direction, especially when you're not talking. If I look that way, you probably lose the volume of my voice a little bit. So just keep that all dropping back, and letting the spine be nice and long there. And when you feel perhaps that you've relaxed in that position and that some of that resistance has gone from the outer thigh, you can just lower your brick or block or take it out completely and come into just a little bit of a deeper, a little bit of a stronger opening through that side. And I always like to, as I breathe out in these positions, soften my spine, especially trying to relax the back of my spine. Let my breastbone sink down and back towards the spine, and the navel draw to the spine on the exhalations. Good. So now then, as we're ready, we can put a bit of pressure again into the left arm, and we try to come back using our abdominal muscles more than our leg muscles. And if you manage that, then you may feel your spine shunt nicely as you get back into the position with the pelvis square on the floor again. And we're going to release the right leg, opening it outwards. And then as the knee is resting out towards the right side again, and try and really relax into the depth of that right hip. Now, this is really helpful and quite key to opening up through the back of the hips when, ironically, when we bring the legs forwards and towards us. When we let this knee fall in quite a lot, we won't experience as much opening. So we've been loosening that area already with the twist that we just did. We try to keep the knee opening and then reaching under. Now, it can be, again, helpful. Left all my equipment slightly too far away. So it can be helpful just to put a strap in or a resistance band, if you've got a nice strong one, in underneath that lower leg, bringing the legs towards you. But then sometimes that can cause us to be really gripping and a lot of tension in the upper body. Just seeing again if you can relax through the neck and the spine in the back of the ribcage as you bring the legs towards you. And another technique that's viable here is to bring the legs as close as you can, get your lower abdomen hollow, and then rolling up, lengthening your upper spine towards the legs and breathing in to come back down. So it's not an abdominal crunch through the front of the body like that. That's not the intention anyway. It's a sense of lengthening through the spine, rolling the tailbone away from the mat, and then lengthening and rolling through the upper body. So you really stretch the spine, and that tends to help open the outside of the hip and the outer thigh again. Now, from here, let's just begin to open the hamstrings. We can gently and slowly extend through that same right leg, remembering to keep opening and extending through the inside of the hip joint, inside thigh, all the way through to the sole of the foot there. And once again, it may be the knee doesn't have to be extended, but it may be that holding the weight of the leg feels quite heavy. Leg may be way over here somewhere as well, but still experiencing a lot of hamstring lengthening for your own individual body. And especially if the strength in the hamstring is very powerful and that you're not really able to get an opening coming either above the hip or forwards of the hip joint, you may find that the strap is helpful to take the weight off the muscle in the back of the leg. But again, seeing if it's possible to keep the arms bedded into the upper back and the shoulders at ease, and the back of the neck at ease. And again, as you're breathing out, just seeing if it's possible to relax through your spine. And also just to let the breastbone relax towards the back and the back relax into the mat. And also the abdomen relax towards the back, the navel relax towards the back, and the mid-back relax into the mat. So I just work the last breath here, Supta Padangusthasana, and then let's fold that leg in and down, and relaxing it. So then, as we're ready, we might just reach a stretch up, reach a stretch down, and then from here, we're going to think about just passing into that series of movements to the other side. And so we can cross the legs over, let the arms open towards the sides. Again, hugging the breastbone to the spine, lower abdomen working, and just letting our twist release and relax towards the right side this time. And then we can think about dropping the left shoulders back. We might put a bit of pressure into the right arm to achieve that, and letting the left shoulder sink down towards the floor as well. And the head and neck might turn that way. And again, as before, it might be helpful to support the weight of the leg a little bit, especially at the shin, coming into this twist, just to take the intensity off a little bit. And as well, I try to assist my body to lengthen just by letting my ribs taper in, my breastbone sink down the back, the spine soften and lengthen towards the tailbone. And all of that helps to make the center depth of the body a little bit narrower. The pelvis narrows, the core narrows, and then the muscles that are outlying here on the pelvis get a chance to release when the hips beneath them relax and narrow. Yeah. So now we're just breathing here, another couple of rounds of the breath. Just checking as well that our neck stays relaxed. That's another thing we can do. And then gently coming back. So breastbone hugging to the spine, navel drawing to the spine, abdominal muscles hugging back. The legs ideally staying relaxed. And sometimes you feel a little shunt in your lower back as you get that. And then from there, we can just draw up through, our left leg. And again, as on the first side, relaxing, letting go into the depth of the inside of the hip joint. And then as you're ready, we're going to just draw the legs up and towards us, reaching through towards that lower leg, keeping the left knee as open as we can. Or, as discussed on the first side, we might be popping a strap in underneath the back of the lower leg, in theory the right leg. We keep the weight over to that lower leg side, in theory the right side, so we really feel the intensity of the opening and we don't lose it by sinking over towards that left side. And or here we could flow the lower spine in and the upper spine follows. Breath or so here, breathing into unfurl. And again, rolling the lower back, lengthening through the upper spine, breathing in to unfurl. And we can just give that a go through another couple of breaths here. And rolling away. And then our last time. So rolling through and then up. That's it. Now, after all of that, in many ways, our hamstring ready to open, and just remembering to keep freeing and lengthening through the inside leg, and rather than pushing the foot into a random space somewhere beyond the body, you're trying to really move through the body, moving through the thigh, back of the thigh, inside thigh, coming into a position that's connected through the body. It belongs to the whole of the body, not the brain. So, I want my foot to go here or there. just finding out how the body can open through its own space into the space that surrounds it. And then, of course, as before on the first side, we can always just be popping a strap around the sole of the foot if that helps us. We find that it is useful to take the weight off the lengthening action there, or, again, if the stretch is very, very strong, especially if the leg is shaking, then, ease off. And you can support the leg a bit further away. If you still feel that the hamstring is opening, then it's still opening. It doesn't matter where it is. It's about you, not a theoretical hamstring somewhere in the universe. So the last couple of breaths here, everyone. And then, as you're ready, let's just fold that leg in. This time we're going to circle the hips on the mat 2 or 3 times in one direction, and also 2 or 3 times in the opposite direction. And then we can reach a nice long stretch through the spine and into the legs, into the arms as we breathe in. And breathing out just to let everything center again. So let's just flow this through another 3 or 4 times. And then the light is unfortunately failing a little bit, so I'll turn the lights on in just a second. And then a last round of the breath in this Supta Prasariptadasana. So folding the legs in, and then as you're ready, thinking about rolling over, coming onto one side and pressing up towards the seated position. And then we're going to just send the hips back and towards the heels, like that, just for a moment or so. And I'll put a little bit of lighting on here. It's quite a dull day today. It's quite a lot of rain. I think that's affecting the light, unfortunately. So hopefully that would be enough light now. So with the hips reaching back and towards the heels, spine nice and long, going to a little bit flow, the cat stretch. So let's breathe in to come forwards, let the lower abdomen be nice and lifted and the navel drawing to the spine. Just finding a position where your knees are essentially underneath your hip joints and your hands, your wrists are underneath your shoulder joints. And then as we're ready, breathing out, rolling the spine. There's hollowing action in the lower abdomen, navel drawing to the spine, breastbone drawing up and back. You can always breathe in here, and then again breathing out to lengthen through the whole spine. And breathing in to let the upper back move forwards and up. And then once again, as we're ready, our exhalation to roll. Breathe in here. Breathing out to lengthen again. So keep the abdominal muscles lifted ideally, keeping the spine supported. Now we can hold with this version of the cat another couple of rounds, or we could make it a little bit more dynamic, rounding the spine, breathing out to reach back, tucking the elbows in and back, directing them towards our knees. We keep the lower abdomen strong, navel drawing to the spine, our in-breath to roll through. So the exhalation to roll back, and then again the inhalation to roll through. Like that, exhalation to roll back, inhalation to roll through, and then the last round of the breath in this version of cat. And rolling back. And you can all rest the hips back towards the heels for a moment. And just spending 3 or 4 breaths to allow the spine to relax and to absorb the lengthening that the cat position or the Majariasana has put through it. Letting the sides of the ribs soften and the sides of the waist soften, the spine lengthening through the center. And from here, we're going to think about flowing into downward facing dog, so Adho Mukha Svanasana. Deep lift in the lower abdomen, navel drawing to the spine, collarbones open, and the shoulder blades, as much as possible, just moving down the back. Now, they don't move far, but we let them move down the back a little bit. We let the energy in the shoulder blades keep reaching towards our sitting bones. As we move back and up, the shoulder blades pin back towards the sitting bones. We need to use the muscles of the outsides of the upper arms to help us, hugging the breastbone to the spine, letting the floating ribs gather in towards the center of the body. Navel draws to the spine, the abdomen lifts, and heels sink away. Now, heels might sink away, but the knees might still be bent. That's fine, it doesn't matter. We're aiming to feel our spine nice and long, seeing if we can really lengthen the spine. And then from here, we're going to let the right leg come forwards in between us. So we can either just look forward, breathe in, breathe out, step it forward. Or we can reach it back and up, really opening and lengthening it out of the center depth of the body, and then stepping through. So we breathe in here, we're going to breathe out, lengthen the spine back, so reaching into the tailbone, reaching into that back heel, back knee comes down. And then here we can flow a little. We can let the spine move back, and then we can breathe in, let the spine move forwards and upwards. So it's a tissue action. It's like cold at the moment. So we can let that flow, and you can come forward, tailbone, lengthening tailbone to ground. And then breathing out, reaching back, tailbone reaches back, waist reaches back. And ideally here, going to try to keep both sides of the waist. Sorry. And both sides of the ribs really long. So I've got a little bit of a coming forwards again. and then drawing. So there's no need to reproduce the sneezing. It's fine just to do the opening the hip joints and the hamstring. Good. Now, with some of this then, we're just going to come through to a position where, depending on how much openness you've got in your hip joints, you might feel comfortable and happy to have the hips pretty low here. Your abdominal muscles working, your left arm close to your right leg, and then twisting in and reaching up and back. Now, for some people, that will just be way too strong and, unbearable, actually, I think. And if that's your situation, just think about lifting up. Now, it might be that you need a little bit of padding underneath that back knee. Try to create a right angle, back of the front knee, back of the back knee. And then as well, here we are, nice and tall. And we can let this left hip swing forward a little bit. And then here we are once again. The left arm comes to the outside of the right leg, and we can reach up and back into the right arm. Just breathing here. Now, if you're in a much deeper position like this one, as you're reaching back, it may be viable to bring that back leg up and just catching hold of your foot behind you. Just for a breath or two. And then once again, from here, we can release that away and we untwist. Head can come to the inside of our front knee. Breathing in and breathing out. The shoulder blades can move really back. Breastbone can hug towards the spine. Knees can bend again. Ribs reach back and up. Waist reaches back and up. Lengthening from your fingertips into your sitting bones. Nice deep lift. Lower abdomen, navel drawing to the spine. So we breathe here 2-3 breaths. And then once you're ready, we try and reach back really long into the right sitting bones, keeping that right waist nice and long. And as you're ready, you can breathe in, let your left leg extend. Or you can just step forward with the left leg. So from here, I'm using my left leg to help lengthen my spine towards my tailbone. And then breathing in, just stepping that left leg all the way forwards. And before I come down, I try to create space in my spine. So crown to tailbone, I try to find that line, lifting up in my lower abdomen. As I reach into my back heel, I let my tailbone reach towards that back heel, and then can bring the back knee down. And then once again, from there, it's this flowing action. So as far as we move back, we aim to keep the spine pretty long. Breathing in, coming forwards, moving from the tailbone all the way through to the crown of the head. It's cold in this room, I think. And then as you're ready, you just keep that flowing. Lots of space there, reaching into the sitting bone, opening the back of the leg. And then coming forwards again. Maybe letting your spine move like that. Yeah. And then a last time. So now this is where, again, we think about our strong close twist, and it might be really very strong. So you might have your left hand very close, your right hand very close to your left leg, just keeping your knee in line. And then you're trying to swing that lower hip under and around and turning through, and then you can reach your left arm behind. Or alternatively, you're in that position where you've lifted up a bit. So you're quite tall, and you can have your blocks to either side of your front leg. Yeah. So like that. And then from there, you would be turning, letting your right hip move forwards. And then we can just bring the right hand to the outside of the front leg. And then reaching into the back arm. And again, if you're quite deep in the position, as you reach back, you may be able to just take hold of that back leg. And then it's flowing through. And then we can untwist from there, untwisting. Let the blocks come forward. Breathing in, breathing out, we can reach back and up into the downward facing dog. So collarbones nice and open, shoulder blades moving in the direction of the sitting bones, the abdomen really lifted, and just breathing there. And then again, as you're ready, we can bring ourselves down, we can let the knees bend. We can let the knees go a little bit wide, and sending the hips back and towards the heels. Lots of length, lots of space to the body. Breathing there. Then we can stick through one more closed spinal twist. And that's going to involve, this time, coming into the revolved triangle. So to do that again, we could pass through our all fours position, just breathing in there. Lengthening through the backs of the legs. And then again, you can either just step the right leg forward from this position, and we're aiming for a position more or less just behind the line of the heels of the hands, so it's not such a long one this time. You can get that long reach. And then stepping through. And then from here, this is another place where it may be really handy to have your bricks or blocks. So we let the left hip square up, so it swings a little bit forwards. And through the back of your hips, back of your shoulders, back of head, trying to produce a long line. So front knee can always be bent, but it's really the spine that we're looking not to compromise. We'll get more room to extend through the back of the front leg if we really lift up in the lower abdominal muscles and hinge the pelvis over the tops of the thighs. Now, once again, we're going to bring the left hand or left arm, so you can either be close to his front foot, or you can use a block. We really draw that left hip forward. You can bring the right hand onto the right hip, and then the left hip moves down, left waist moves down, left ribs move down, and the shoulder blades move down the back. We need to keep lots of weight in the back leg. So although the front knee might be bent, but this time the weight is in the back leg. You can reach up and through into the right arm, extending, breathing. And then once again, as you're ready, on an exhalation, untwisting. We're going to breathe in, head comes to the inside of the front knee. And then again, as you're ready, you just step right back and up, downward facing dog. So I spend a breath or two here just to feel the body even up around the line of the spine. Here's in line with the arms. Again, from here, we could just step forward, just a simple step forward, or we can send the leg up quite high, reaching and lengthening, holding the abdominal center strong. Keep the base of the breastbone reaching up and back towards the inside of the tailbone, holding that right sitting bone long and square. And then as we're ready again, with the out breath, just letting our left leg come forward. So just once more, we're working with a spine that is parallel to the floor. And we can use our bricks or blocks to help us support that position. Ideally, we're still using quite a lot of strength in our core muscles in the lower abdomen, around the waist, through the upper back, breast bone hugs to the spine. So we're in Parsvottanasana at the moment, and then we're going to come into Parivriti Trikonasana. So although that front knee might be bent, the weight is mainly moving to the back leg. And we're going to swing the right hip forward, keep reaching the left hip back. Let the waist open out of the hips. And then your right waist moves down, right ribs move down, right shoulder. You can reach up into the right arm. So although we've got the block there, we're working and aiming to feel that our strength is in our body, in our legs, in our trunk, in our core. Okay. And then once again, as we're ready, on an exhalation, we untwist. Breathing in here, and with an exhalation, we're going to reach back and up once more. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Good. So from the downward facing dog this time, just going to walk up, bring the feet forward. You're in a foot forward bend. You might be using bricks or blocks, higher setting. Lots of again length through the spine. Breathe. And then after a few breaths, we let the knees bend, so bringing ourselves down onto the floor gently. Totally the tissues of this class. And then from there, actually, I'm thinking about the feet being positioned wide on the mat at once. And then just with the arms behind us, working again, just coming again into a more flowing twist. So the revolved triangle, the Parivriti Trikonasana, where we just were, tends to be quite a set, quite a rigid position. We need a lot of strength through the rather architectural lines of that particular practice. And we just let this flow. Now, if you're feeling quite happy with your core muscles, again, you can always let a trail arm flow with you. This version of Parivrtajasana, quite nice. Working through and working through. And it tends to bring you a little up your mat. And that may be all to the good, because we're going to gradually come through to a centered position and just rolling down through our spine. Coming right down onto the mat. You might hear let's hug the right leg in and towards us, really relaxing our spine into the mat. We might have a long reach up and back into our right arm as well. Breathing in, just breathing out, relaxing the spine, letting go then. Good. Sometimes from this position, especially after all the twists we've been doing, we might be ready to come into the Morning Star position, where we, again, still keeping our right shoulder anchored to the mat. We're leading over into quite a strongish twist, going towards the left side. But this is, again, where it's definitely possible to use the bricks or blocks, just popping them underneath that knee. And then, again, releasing into the center, just relaxing the back. We'll bring our other legs through. So again, we're aiming to keep the tailbone down if we can, reaching and lengthening into the lower leg. We're breathing in, long stretch up and back into our left arm this time. Breathing here. Letting the spine soften, go. And then again, if it feels right, coming into the Morning Star stretch. So really recommending keeping this trail shoulder down. So on this side, the left shoulder staying down, and leading across, opening that thigh away from the hip. And again, you can support one break, two breaks. Or, you may be able to go quite far keeping your opposite shoulder down, but just take it easy, especially here at the end of the session. And then we gently release the spine. In many respects just uncoils itself. We can slide our legs away from us and the knees and the toes, opening away from the midline of the body, elbows and the backs of the hands rolling out as well. We just spend a few moments to relax here and to breathe. Just being aware of how the spine feels after all those strong twists. Being aware of how the trunk of the body surrounding the spine feels after all those twists. The breath and the solar plexus, which has been very much involved with the twists. Let the arms release and relax and let go away from the shoulders, into the elbows, into the hands. Just allowing the legs to release and let go through the pelvis, into the hip joints, knee joints, heels, the spine relax. So we can spend a few moments feeling the breath, moving in and out of the body. The expansiveness of the inhalation as it comes in. And then again, as you breathe out, just feeling the ribs gather in towards the center of the chest, the abdomen. And there is, you follow the rhythmic flow of the breath in and out of the body here at the end of the practice, just acknowledging any sense of ease that there may be, any sense of gentle strength that there may be as well through the living presence that is perhaps quite vivid as it circulates within the body here at the end of the yoga practice. And again, just being aware of the energy levels all through the body at present, the quality of those energy levels. And being aware of the energy levels within the mind and the quality of those energy levels. And bringing gradually a little bit of movement back into the body, into the toes and the feet, into the fingers and the hands, and just gently and slowly letting the head move towards one side, to draw center again, to release to the other side, and from the center again. So just remembering the neck a couple of times in both directions. Allowing the senses to move outwards again into the space that surrounds you, wherever you actually are. And just letting the sense of hearing move outwards again into the space where you actually are. And we can reach a long stretch upwards through the body and downwards, feeling the muscles engaging again, all about the spine and back muscles reawakening, arms reawakening. Just feeling really that the awareness is contained within that length and breadth and depth of space that is the physical body, and then it's, really, engaged with the physical body as well, ready to move it through the world around us. Just put the legs in, circling, and circling in the opposite direction. And then, as you feel ready, just going to think about rolling over, coming onto one side, just resting on the side for a moment. And then we're pressing up and away from the side towards the seated position. Om Shanti. Namaste. Well, thank you for following this class, and I hope you've enjoyed it, despite my cold disrupting proceedings from time to time. Anyway, hope to see you again soon on Movement Style. Thank you for watching.